good morning, Abuja. This is Citizen FM 93.7, and you are listening to the Super Citizen at Sunrise. The time is 6:39. My name is Stanley Bentu, and I will be spending time with you from now until 9 a.m. Well, today is the 25th of November, 2022, which means that we only have a few more days to the end of the month. And then it would be the month of December, which happens to be the last month of the year. That's right. Christmas is coming. Well, look back at the year and find out if you've been able to accomplish some of those things that you have set out for yourself. People make New Year's resolutions. How did that work out for you? Were you able to succeed? I heard somewhere that maybe it's not about resolutions. Maybe it's about making a mid to long-term plan. There's a saying that people overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year and underestimate what they can achieve in 5. So rather than putting that pressure on yourself that on the 1st of January you're going to do something and your life will be different by the 31st of December, why don't you tell yourself, between now and 5 years' time, there are steps that I want to achieve. There are places that I want to be, and maybe set landmarks so that you can look back and assess yourself without the pressure of saying, okay, hey, it's New Year's Day or Christmas is coming. Anyway, Christmas is a wonderful time of the year. I see that the weather is adjusting accordingly. And so I want to tell you what you will be listening to on Citizen FM 93.7 throughout the course of this Friday. Now, everything begins with the Super Citizen at Sunrise, which goes on up until 9 a.m. And after that, we'll have the sunny side of sports. That's critical. Of course, today is a solemn day for our Muslim brothers and sisters, and so we'll have our Islamic programming coming throughout the course of the afternoon. After that, we will have Citizen Sports with Udeme George, and that will be followed by the Super Citizen at Sunset, brought to you by Didi Eno. And then it would be time for you to taste our delicious and spicy evening jollof. That's when Ezemo comes your way, and he talks about, well, quite a number of things, a lot of things that happen in our country. And we respond, especially all of those trending stories. And you get to listen to everything that he has to say, and I'm sure that he has very interesting things planned out for you. So that is what our programming is going to look like today. But everything starts with the Super Citizen at Sunrise. So let me run you through the things that we will be talking about today. Well, first of all, we'll begin with my concern. And today I have INEC on my mind. We have days, literally, before we get to the next election. Forget the months. It's just a question of days, less than 100 days, as a matter of fact. So it's just around the corner. And the last day of this current administration is not too far away. So we have a very important choice to make, and so I have INEC on my mind, and I want to talk about that. I'll be doing that until 7 o'clock, and that is when we'll have our news review. We'll be looking at the trending stories in the newspapers, and then we'll have the big talk. That's when we pick a story, critical topic, and break it down. Thrash out all of those little issues, unpack all of the things related to that. And we'll be doing that until 9 a.m. when I will be leaving the studio just in time for our news bulletin. So let's begin here. I told you that I had INEC on my mind. Quite a number of things have been happening, and it got me wondering, our political culture, what have we strengthened and what have we not? Let's go back to 1999 when the current political dispensation began. What were the states of the political parties at the time? Have they grown? Have they emerged? Are they better today than they were back in 1999? What about INEC? Is INEC better now than it was in 1999? What about the judiciary? Has the judiciary changed since then? Has it adapted? And of these three critical political actors, which one has grown the least? What about the electorate? Have we changed since 1999? Do we vote differently? I was wondering about all of these things. So, let me start talking about, what got me thinking. Now, a federal high court in Port Harcourt, River State, that's where I want to start. Yesterday, that high court disqualified the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, that's Tonya Cole, in the state. Now, the presiding judge, Justice Emmanuel Obile, in his ruling, said that Cole is not eligible to contest the governorship election. Now, the reason for this is that, according to the court, the candidate is a citizen of the United Kingdom. Now, the state chapter of the People's Democratic Party, that is the PDP, had asked the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to disqualify Cole of the APC, claiming that the delegates that voted at the primary election that brought the candidate were not democratically elected. So, according to the court, the APC did not comply with the Electoral Act that brought Cole as the candidate of the party. Now, the PDP had also asked the court to order INEC not to recognize Tonya Cole as the governorship candidate of the APC for alleged dual citizenship, and that the delegate election that brought him in did not follow due process as it was not monitored by INEC. So on Thursday, Justice Obile directed INEC to delist the name of Tonya Cole from the list of eligible candidates for the 2023 governorship elections. And this is coming just around 6 months after Cole, who is a former executive director of the Sahara Group, clinched the APC governorship ticket in the oil-rich state. He polled 968 votes from the delegates to win the ticket, and he defeated Ojukai Flagamakere, who got 190 votes, Sukonte Davids, who got 49 votes, Michael West, who got 43 votes, and Bernard Miku, who got 2 votes. Then we also have Magnus Abe, who got only 1 vote. And it's an interesting situation, but the APC has reacted to that. Let's take a listen to what they think about this judgment, especially the explanation that because Cole is a dual citizen of Nigeria and the United Kingdom, and he is voluntarily so, that he's not eligible to contest in this election.
Yes, my name is Sogbe Eli. I'm the spokesman of the Rivers APC 2023 Campaign Council. Well, the judge in his wisdom disqualified Tonya Cole on the grounds that he is not eligible for dual citizenship and interpreted Section 28, read in conjunction with Section 182, Sub 1, Paragraph A of the Constitution, with respect to the judge, outside of what the law is and states, and what judicial precedents are on that matter. Tonya Cole was born in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria, in January 1967. So his citizenship of Nigeria by birth is not in doubt. Now, if you go to Section 182, Sub 1, Paragraph A of the Constitution, it makes a clear-cut demarcation on what can disqualify a candidate for governor of a Nigerian state. With your kind permission, I'll read. It says, no person shall be qualified for election to the office of governor of a state if, subject to the provisions of Section 28 of this Constitution, he has voluntarily acquired the citizenship of a country other than Nigeria, or except in such cases as may be described by the National Assembly, he has made a declaration of allegiance to such other country. The point to note here is Section 28 of the Constitution defines and provides for dual citizenship in our country, in our Constitution. So Tonya Cole, even though born in Port Harcourt, had applied and has since become a citizen of the United Kingdom as well. But that Section 182 Sub 1A clearly makes a provision that subject to that Section 28. So if Section 28 says you can be a dual citizen, then you cannot come under 182 to disqualify a candidate. And let's make this point clear. Citizenship of Nigeria is defined in Section 25 of the Constitution. 26 and 27 define citizenship on the basis of naturalization and registration. Now, for those two sections, 26 and 27, under 28, you'll be caught up by that ruling on its due. Because you're a Nigerian citizen by naturalization or by registration. When a citizen by birth is different. You are a Nigerian born as a Nigerian, whether of Nigerian parents outside the country or inside this country, you are exempted from that provision 182. But the judge, in his wisdom today, decided to interpret what is strange to our law, because this is a matter that previous courts, even higher benches, had decided upon. In 2004, the appeal court, then in the judgment read by Justice James Buchanan Longen, who later became CJN, had decided in that case of William Ogebide versus Osula on the same issue. Again, in another matter in 2014, Labour Party against Ishola, that issue had been cited with approval. Other matters have come where the same issue had been determined. So we found it strange that it could handle that judgment against our candidate, and we have proceeded to commence. We have proceeded to file an appeal to challenge that decision. And I do know, as the law lives, as the law is clear, it will be set aside, and then the candidate will proceed to the elections unfettered. We know that these are shenanigans thrown at us by the opposition party, the PDP, and they're buying their time just to distract us. They have no foundation in law and cannot stand.
93.7 Citizen FM.
Let's talk about it on our favorite radio station.
We're more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.
Well, this is Citizen FM 93.7, and you are listening to the Super Citizen at Sunrise. The time is 8:51, and I said that I'm concerned about INEC, especially as it concerns a lot of these lawsuits that have been coming, but more changes before the election. So let me talk about this one. That's not it. In River State, the APC says that it would look at the judgment and then appeal the outcome of that. But the mood is different in the Northeast. Now, the Court of Appeal sitting in Yola has set aside a high court rulings nullifying the primaries that produce Emmanuel Bwacha and Aishatu Binani as the All Progressives Congress governorship candidates of Taraba and Adamawa states, respectively. That is Bwacha of Taraba and Binani from Adamawa. Now, it was a unanimous decision from the three-man panel of the Court of Appeal, led by Justice Tani Hassan, set aside the judgment of the lower court yesterday and ordered that their names should be resubmitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission as APC governorship candidates for both states. So, more background on this. In September, Justice Simon Omodeba of the Federal High Court in Jalingo, that is the capital of Taraba State, sacked Bwacha after a petition by an ex-aspirant, that's David Kente. Now, the judge had argued that it's not possible for all the primary results to have the same handwriting, while the returning officer declared that no primary was held in the state at the police headquarters due to security threats. So the former deputy minority leader of the Senate later appealed the judgment and alleged that the ruling People's Democratic Party in Taraba State is the major cause of the problems within the APC. Well, the PDP is quite powerful in Taraba State, but the APC is, it's a keenly contested situation over there, with both parties being pretty strong. So a similar situation Last month, Federal High Court sitting in Yola nullified the APC primary that produced Binani as the party's governorship candidate for Adamawa State. Justice Abdul Aziz Anka declared that the judgment was based on substantial evidence of non-compliance with the party guidelines and that of those of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, a former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, that is Nuhu Ribadu. Do you remember him? Well, he made a lot of news somewhere between 2003 and 2007. He was also a presidential candidate. He's running for governor. Now, he came second during the primary, and he dragged Binani and INEC before the High Court, alleging that there was vote buying and illegal delegates, that there was a list of illegal delegates at the primary, which was conducted on the 27th of May, 2022. But the appellate court didn't agree with the judgment of the court of first instance and set aside both of those judgments. Now, at the entrance of the court yesterday, there were there were lots of people who were celebrating, supporters of Binani. They were really happy about the outcome of this judgment. Police were there and they were watching very closely, hoping that there would not be any breakdown of law and order. So, big return for Bwacha and Binani. In fact, the return is so big, you can refer to it as a return of the Mac. All right, well, we do have... let me talk about my concern about all of these things that have been happening. I'll tell you what it is. I'm concerned about how INEC is going to go about preparing for the elections at a time when a lot of lawsuits are being presented before the courts. And INEC did talk about this recently. INEC at different times has said that the smooth conduct of the 2023 general elections would be hampered by multidimensional challenges, including, they mentioned flooding, they mentioned insecurity, court cases, and also attack on facilities and members of staff of INEC. So the commission seems to be more concerned, however, with these litigations. Now, the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, is very upset. He said that there are over 600 court cases related to the outcome of primaries, pre-election matters, which the commission has been joined. The commission is listed as an interested party in this. So it's raised a lot of fear that the commission has to contend with a barrage of litigations. And at the same time, INEC would have to prepare for the elections, which in and of itself is a very hectic task. So the chairman, he said, this is something he said at the inauguration of the Electoral Logistics Committee at the INEC headquarters.